Joining me now are three of the country's best political analysts. We have Kelly Goff, regular contributor to the Huffington Post, Miguel Perez, syndicated columnist and professor at Lehman College, and Democratic strategist Robert Zimmerman. Gentlemen and ladies, thank you very much for joining us. We have to start with Sotomayor, and I have to say hats off to you, Miguel, because on May 5th, you predicted, you called it, and you said it was a shoo-in. But did you anticipate the sort of drama that's been going on this week about a comment that she made and the really serious discussion that's engendered?
Look, I always knew that there was going to be people nitpicking at every word that she wrote and everything that she ever said. This is natural. It happens with every nominee. But it is offensive. It's getting very offensive now and insulting to a lot of Latinos, the tone of the conversation. Look, this woman, to us Latinos, is the same thing that Obama represented to African Americans when he got elected. This is our si se puede. This is our being able to tell our children, you too can be a member of the Supreme Court. That's how important it is, and that's how emotional it is to us. So when they attack her in every other way, we don't care about those other things. About her opinions at this point, no, it's a question of pride.
All right, let me just, you know what, I want to play the comment for our audience, just so that they have it in context. And this is the comment that generated all the controversy.
I'm sure she would have restated it, but if you look in the entire sweep of the essay that she wrote, what's clear is that she was simply saying that her life experiences will give her information about the struggles and hardships that people are going through that will make her a good judge.
I think she'd say that her word choice in 2001 was poor. I think if she had the speech to do all over again, I think she'd change that word.
Okay, that was the White House response. I want to read the comment. I would hope that a wise Latina woman with the richness of her experience would more often than not reach a better conclusion as a judge than a white male who has lived that life. Okay, that's the comment that generated all the controversy. We just heard the White House rebuttal of that, which some say came actually a little late. Robert, your thoughts on that?
Well, first, let me give my congratulations to our friend Miguel for calling it so quickly. And you're absolutely correct when you say it's offensive. The dialogue, the debate has become offensive, and not just to those who are Latino Americans and also to Hispanic community, but also all of us as Americans. This pushback that we're seeing, this political attack from the extreme fringe right wing, is offensive to all of us. If you look at Judge Sotomayor's comments in the full context of her full speech, it's also important to note she recognizes that the white male Supreme Court justices made the seminal decisions in terms of attacking sexual discrimination and also for civil rights. And so it's very important to look at the full text of what she's saying. She's referring to, of course, comments by Sandra Day O'Connor. But her comments are not in any way different than the comments, for example, that Sandra Day O'Connor said about Thurgood Marshall when she said that his life experiences impacted his judicial scholarship.
All right. But some people, I mean, you have to admit, Robert, that some people in this country read these comments in a different context, and they do see them as fairly offensive. I'd like to get Kelly's thoughts on this.
But look, Kitty, the one thing that Robert Gibbs was right about is that her word choice could have been better, pun intended. But that doesn't change the fact that the substance of what she meant is 100% dead on. And that is that anyone who is from a disadvantaged group who has had to succeed in an environment of the majority has a more diverse breadth of experience and perspective. That's without question. The other thing I'd like to say is I'm not sure about which one of her attacks is more laughable. The one coming from Karl Rove challenging her intellectual capability, coming from a man who dropped out of, I think, last count, 4 colleges, challenging someone with her academic credentials and her breadth of experience on the bench, or someone like Newt Gingrich calling her racist. This coming from someone who seemed to have no problem hanging a state flag in his office that has the Confederate battle emblem on it, which is something that I find offensive. Do I think Newt Gingrich is racist? Don't know. Do I think he's, you know, he and Ann Coulter, who also defended the Confederate flag in her book and who called her racist, are they nuts? Possibly.
The real
I think to throw this word around, though, is really
the real question here is who's running the Republican Party? The Republican elected officials who run for election, or the fringe right-wing groups that just run their mouths? And right now, I think it's the fringe right-wing groups that run their mouths that are truly setting the agenda and framing the debate. And I'm very impressed and pleased by the number of Republican senators who've spoken deliberatively and respectfully And I think that shows some hope for, I think, the process being fair and equitable.
There were some Democrats who spoke out also on this issue. They were not happy with the comments, and I have to point that out in all fairness. Let me just bring up something else, because many worry she'll be an activist judge, and with all that implies. And I really would like she gave a talk at Duke University several years ago. There was a comment. They were sort of off the cuff comments, but I'd like to actually play them. And this is also in the controversy.
Court of Appeals is where policy is made. And I know this is on tape, and I should never say that because we don't make law. I know. Okay, I know. I'm not promoting it.
I'm sorry.
All right, so, okay.
I have to weigh
Go
in on
ahead.
this really quickly. I'm sorry.
Kelly,
I just
go
have
ahead.
to say that, we live in a wonderful country, and the Constitution is a great document. It's extraordinary, in fact. But according to Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution, I'm 3/5 of a human being. It took the 15th Amendment and the 19th Amendment to make sure that as a woman and as an African American, I have the right to vote. So I get a little frustrated sometimes when I hear people who are strict constitutionalists express this alleged concern.
But this issue is not about strict constitutionalism. If you look at her comments,
overly interpret the Constitution. And
this
that
is not
needs to be
about strict
discussed.
constitutionalism.
But that's been part of the criticism, Bob. Part of the criticism.
But the point is, her comments were defining the different levels of the judiciary, the appellate level versus the district level, and she disavowed the notion of an activist judiciary, and she's testified in her previous confirmation hearing against it. What we really have are the conservative, right-wing activist judges who are taking exception here, who have used who've used their time on the bench, in the Supreme Court, to really undermine laws. Whether it's the Lilly Ledbetter law, a statute they so severely limited she couldn't get equal pay for equal work, or the way the conservative activists gutted McCain-Feingold by allowing special interest money back into the system.
I give Miguel the last word. He made the call. He gets the last word on this.
Back to Sotomayor, what is happening here is that slowly but surely the Republican Party is burying itself. They're doing everything possible to disappear from the mind of the Hispanic community, and they're following people like Rush Limbaugh, who's telling them that they don't need the Hispanic vote. So if they don't need the Hispanic vote, imagine what he's telling Republican Latinos. We don't need you. They must be wondering right now whether they should switch over to the Democratic Party. I'm sure Robert is delighted to hear that.
It gives me some hope and encouragement.
All right, well, I think we agree that this has generated quite a discussion, quite a valuable discussion, and thank you very much for helping me fill it in tonight. Thank you very much. Kelly Goff, Miguel Perez, Robert Zimmerman. In Heroes tonight, one Marine's attempt to single-handedly fight off insurgents. We'll have his story next.